What up, your boy MC Shadow? Now, here bringing you another one in the Inland Empire for the Inland Empire, riders right there, the IE Riverside. So the neighborhoods that are remaining in Riverside, and after that we got Fontana, and I think Fontana should be that's it. It should be like I should be out of the IE after that. So here's up for all the Riverside riders, and then we're gonna hit Fontana. You know what I mean? So starting off with.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the Soundbrown genocide. Locals posted locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chieflet, they would duck up out of sight. Light your car when the sun down, it was mission time. You had to stay alert, cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking, and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-File.
Alright, now here starting off with Eastside Riva, the biggest neighborhood out of the Riverside. They're large in number. They're not for its size, they're not that old school. They only been around since the 70s. But for the large gang that it is, because them and Corona are probably the largest neighborhoods in like the Inland Empire. That's how deep they are. These guys have like a gang of cliques. Because they're the largest out of them. Even though I would say Westside Riva probably has the biggest territory. These guys definitely have like the most members. You know what I mean? Their neighborhood is right there on University Avenue and 14th Street. Is there, you know what I mean? Like, there is where their turf's at. Now, you hear a lot about Eastside, Riverside. That's a label where Little Blackie, Little Seiko, Young Travis, Bundy, the Pimp Rolling Records, that's the label, where they're from. You know what I mean? They have a, like a kind of like a, they have their neighborhood well structured. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go so much into details on how their neighborhood is structured and everything like that, but let's just say that their neighborhood is well structured. And yeah, man, they definitely with the business, and they definitely be putting it down. You know what I mean? They ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's what's up with the Eastside Rivas right there. Now here you have Westside Riverside. Now Westside Riverside is right there on the Robondox of Riverside. Was known as the most active and the one that has all the activity, that part of Riverside, that area, Pacific Avenue. You know what I mean? Is where you can find their neighborhood. So by Opal, by Bakers, by the swap meet, by Club Metro. Well, it used to be Club Metro. They shut it down. And I think Westside Rivas is the reason why they shut it down, because they definitely keep it active. They deep, not as large as Eastside Rivas, but nonetheless, man, they with the business. They're not as old as Eastside Rivas either, but nonetheless, man, they just as deadly as them, and they definitely be holding it down right here for their side. And they deep, not as deep as Eastside, but they still deep, man. And yeah, they be taking care of business, man. Westside Rivas is, definitely with the business, and they ain't playing, and that's where you can find them. They still right there holding it down for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? So that's what's up with them. So shout out to all the homies from Westside Rivas. Now here you have Northside Rivas. Now Northside Rivas is been around since the 80s. Not as old as East Side or West Side, or you don't really hear about them as much. But they're right there on Hella Street, on Greenwich. So by those areas, by American Drive, is where you can find the North Side Rivas neighborhood. Like I said, they're roughly small, but nonetheless, man, they right there. They representing for their neighborhood, and they ain't no chumps, homie. So that's what's up with Northside Riva. Now here you have Southside Riverside Locotes. Now, Southside Riverside Locotes is right there near Roofland Park, on at Altadena Drive. So by those outskirts is where you can find this neighborhood. It's an old school neighborhood. This is the neighborhood where, well, it's been around since the early 80s. Now, this neighborhood is the neighborhood that guy Joker from LSD is from. Check out that guy's album, man. That album is actually pretty good. You know what I mean? This is his neighborhood. And yeah, man, they definitely be right there representing it and holding it their own. For the Southside Riverside Locote. So when you do hear about like Southside Riverside, this is the one that 9 times out of 10 is who they're talking about. You know what I mean? I know that there's the Pequeños, and then there's the Mad Downs, and all these other sets, but this is the one that is the oldest, and the one that you definitely hear about them. You know what I mean? And yeah, you can find them right there. Holding it down for their neighborhood. Now here you have Darkside Riva. Now Darkside Riva is right here on Lemon and First. They're probably one of the smallest ones out of the Riva neighborhoods. They're not that deep, but nonetheless, man, they with the business, and you can find them right here. Taking care of business and putting in work for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? These guys definitely, ain't no pushovers, ain't no chumps. They be right here representing for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie Crazy from Darkside, feed me homie right there. And shout out to all the homies from Darkside that be doing their thing, you know what I mean? Now here you have Southside Rivas. Now Southside Rivas, the Pequeños neighborhood is right there on Central and Carlos. So on Arlington is where you can find their neighborhood. They're not connected to the Southside Rivas Locotes neighborhood. It's his own neighborhood. It's his own thing. It's not a clique. They're pretty cool with the guys from Mad Down. You know what I mean? They're all coming from the south side of Riverside, but they're not a part of that neighborhood. I know some people like to say that that's what it is, but it's not. It's his own neighborhood. And yeah, that's what's up with Southside Rivas right there. Been around since the 80s, and they ain't no chumps, man. They stay with the business, and they still be right there holding it down for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Here we have La Sierra, not to be confused with Los Cerros, La Sierra, because they write it similar. This neighborhood is right there by La Sierra Park, by Campbell and Grand Mercy. So by those areas, by those outskirts, is where you can find La Sierra neighborhood. La Sierra neighborhood, it's a roughly small neighborhood, but they keep it active. They got the riders right there. You know what I mean? Hey, homie, they ain't no pushovers, dog. They definitely right there representing for their barrio, holding it down. They've been around since the 80s, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, homie, hey, these vatos, La Sierra Rifa, they with the business, homie, you know what I mean? Don't think just because they're not as big as like some of these other neighborhoods in Riverside that they some chumps, you know what I mean? They with the business, homie, and yeah, you can still find them right there representing and holding it down for their barrio, you know what I mean? Here you have Hillside Rivas. Now, Hillside Rivas is right there on Hillside Drive and Dinway by Walter Street. You can find them also at the Nicholas Park. Small neighborhood, but nonetheless, they're right there holding it, down for their neighborhood. They're with the business. You know what I mean? Been around since late 80s, early 90s. And yeah, they be right there holding it down. Not the same as Northside Rivas. I know people, for some odd reason, get them confused. I don't know why. Hillside is their own barrio, and yeah, they'd be right there holding it down. Now here you have Dogtown Riva. This is the same Dogtown as the one in Gardinas, and the same one that came out of Nella. So it's an old school neighborhood, one of the first neighborhoods, if not the first neighborhood. But over here in the Riverside County, it's only been here since the 90s. But it's another fracture of the neighborhood that's big. You know what I mean? You can find them right there on Heller Drive is where you can find them, on 30th and 2nd on Mary and Laurel is where their neighborhood's at. And yeah, they definitely be right there representing for their neighborhood.